Hi everyone, I'm Spencer and welcome to Underwater Updates. So today is Monday, I don't have a whole lot to do, and today is actually the day that my aquarium gravel comes for the 75 gal. So, figured I'm going to be making a video about that today. I might as well knock out some other videos that I have planned as well. So for today's video, probably figured it out by the name of the title, but this is going to be my 5 best tips for beginners coming into the hobby. This is stuff that I did know when I started, things I wish I would have taken more seriously, things I didn't know, just things that I feel like everyone should know before you kind of get your hands wet and before you get into it, because it's so much fun, but there's definitely a lot of challenges to this hobby. So the first thing that I want to say isn't really a tip, it's just kind of like a free tip. Doesn't count as the 5, but do your research. That's going to be the most important thing before you start this, is doing your research. The internet, just Google like, I want to start an aquarium, beginning aquarium ideas, my first aquarium, kind of like what you're doing right now and how you found this video. So good job, you're already off to a great start. But you're going to want to do as much research as you can, because there's a lot of different things that go into just having a fish tank. You got to think about filtration, you got to think about water parameters, you got to think about ammonia, you got to think about nitrate, nitrite, and the cycle of all of those. And if any of these sound familiar, you're already off to a good start. But if not, I'm not going to really be addressing those in this video, so you're going to want to do some more research even after this. But once you've finished your general aquarium research and you understand how the ecosystem works and how everything works in there, then you're going to want to start with these 5 tips. So the first tip that I have for you is one that pretty much everyone's going to say, and it's go big. Go as big as you can with this aquarium. I know that you're just probably starting out and you're thinking, well, what if I don't like it and then I have like this big aquarium in my house? You will. You're gonna like it, and you're gonna like it with that 10-gallon aquarium, and then you're gonna want a bigger one. I started with a 15-gallon aquarium. I still have it. It's one of my favorite aquariums. But 75 gallons later, I have this one in my room. So it's inevitable. You're gonna like it. I'm not saying go out there and get a 55-gallon, but if you want an aquarium, I would say definitely start with nothing smaller than a 20. Get like a 20, a 29, a 36. I had that tank. It was awesome. It kept me very happy for a long time. Even a 55, it doesn't take up as much space as it's like you think. It looks really great. That's when they really start to get like that fish tank long look that everybody wants. You shouldn't just get a big tank because it looks good. It also is just going to make your whole life easier when it comes to taking care of the tank. In some ways. When it comes to your water, you have a lot more water that you're working with in there. So if things like ammonia spike or nitrate spikes or anything like that, you're going to have the time to detect those and combat those before they start to kill off your fish or harm your plants or just anything. All those things have so much more leeway when you have all this water to work with, because when you add in food or add in new fish and those ammonia spikes go up, they're like, you know, more diluted because there's a ton more water in there. You get it. We get it. Makes sense. Also, when you're thinking about stocking your tank, you're going to be looking in the fish store and you're going to see those boxes with the 29-gallon tank, and it's going to show such a lush picture with all these fish, and you're going to think it's awesome, and that's how your tank's going to work. And that's not true. On the boxes that they have with the fish tanks, where there's these 55s with bala sharks in it and angelfish and all these big giant fish, that's not how it works. You have about 1 inch of fish per gallon of tank, meaning if you have a 10-gallon tank, you can have 10 1-inch fish or 2 5-inch fish, or any variation in between, if that makes sense. So after we've got our appropriately sized tank, kind of as big as we can go, the next step is going to be utilizing your local fish stores. Go to your local fish store or small aquarium shop. They're going to know so much more than the employees at the pet stores do. They're going to know about your fish. They're going to be able to tell you how to test your water. They're going to be able to tell you so much more information than a normal big brand pet store is, because they're specialized on the fish, not just all animals. You want to have a good relationship with a local fish store. It's a place that you can use as a resource if you ever have any questions or you need anything, maybe something that you can't find, they'll be able to find for you that you need. So local fish stores are going to be a huge resource to use, especially when you're getting into the hobby for the first time. Just find a local fish store that you like right away. My third tip for you is going to be checking your water parameters often. A lot of people are going to think that just because they have a clear tank or a clean looking tank, not a ton of algae or whatever you define as clean, they think that a tank can be healthy. You can have a very clear tank and still have high ammonia levels in there. You need to be checking your water parameters, especially at the beginning, because your tank is going to need to go through that ammonia cycle. So making sure that you're doing daily water parameters for the first month, and then at least once a week afterwards, just to make sure that your tank is on track. And then if you need to, you can do anything to combat those ammonia spikes or whatever else shows up. All right, and that kind of leads you into my fourth tip for you, and that's going to be to do water changes often. So I usually like to change my water at least once a week, unless I'm adding, more fish or doing a lot of maintenance to it to where it's kicking up a lot of that like gross stuff that sits at the bottom. Then I might do another water change, but I always like to do at least a 10 to 25% water change every week. Just pick like a day of the week and have that be like your water change day, and just change 10 to 25%, siphon it out. Put in some fresh, new, fish-safe water. Try and get the temperature as close as you can. Make sure that whatever you use to dechlorinate it, whether it's stress coat or whatever, make sure that that's mixed in there really well. And then pour it in. Changing your water just helps keep the fish tank healthy. Just gets out some of that bad water and just gets you some fresh, new, clean water. Changing your water frequently, about a once a week, 10 to 25% water change is just gonna be a great way to keep your water healthy and your tank healthy all the time. Okay, and my fifth and final tip, and probably the most important one, is going to be go into this with a generous budget. This is not a cheap, I kind of feel like getting into having fish hobby. It's expensive. The tanks are expensive, the fish are expensive. You're going to want to get plants, food, your water bill you have to think about. It does take some electricity to keep all this going. So these are all different things that you're going to want to think about. And you're going to run into problems, I guarantee it. It's just going to happen. You're going to have a light that goes bad, or a filter that goes bad, or a heater that doesn't work anymore. You need more filter media than you thought you would. Just leave yourself plenty of room within your budget for those unexpected things to happen. Plus, this is a fun hobby and it does have some kind of cosmetic appeal to it. You're going to want to change up the gravel. You're going to want to change up the decor. You're going to want to change up fish even. Like maybe you do want a new tank because you want a different kind of fish that you can't keep with the fish that you currently have. These things are going to happen. So leave yourself a nice cushion with your budget when it comes to getting a fish tank, because it's going to cost more than you think. Things are going to come up and you're going to get way more into it than you thought, and that's going to cost you money. All right, and before I go, I got another bonus tip for you. What? 2 bonus tips? Yeah. So the bonus tip is going to be buy a variety of fish foods. You're going to want to get some flakes, some pellets, sinking and floating types, maybe bloodworms, some frozen food. Having a lot of these different kind of fish foods on hand is going to make it really easy for you to figure out what kind of food your fish are going to eat readily. If you're one that wants to have different kinds of fish, like maybe some that hang out at the bottom, some that hang out at the top, some bottom feeders, things like that, maybe get some algae pellets. By having a wide variety of different foods, it's going to just make it easier for you to figure out what kind of food your fish are going to be readily easy to eat. Maybe it entices them with the flavor. Sometimes, I've never really had a huge problem with my fish not eating. Sometimes when you get a new fish, it doesn't quite eat right away. It likes to hide, and getting it to eat can kind of be an issue or a little nerve-wracking at some time. Having a wide variety of food is going to take all that off your mind, and it's just going to make it easier for your fish overall. And I kind of like to think of certain foods as treats that they like, so it makes it a little bit more fun for you as well. So those are my top 5 tips for all of you beginners out there. If you guys have any tips at home for any beginners, please comment them down below so they can see them and we can have a cool discussion about it. If there's any other questions that you might have, also comment that down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and remember to always stay updated. Thank you for watching.